Hey y'all, this is Southern Woods here. Welcome back to another Ages of Conflict war simulation. It is the year 1790 in our own timeline. This is kind of what the map looked like, alright? As you can see, all these former colonies are now states, and then we have the greater US that isn't necessarily established yet. Alright, Britain's still up in Canada, Spain is still hanging around out west, and then we have all the different tribes that are still hanging on as well. So it's pretty much a free-for-all, and that's how we're going to treat it. You see, I was going to have like all the colonies in the greater US be teamed up, right? As they would be. However, in the last simulation, I kind of messed up and all the colonies kind of went against each other. So I was like, we'll just keep it that way. Let's pretend that the greater US is controlled by the central government, and pretty much each state is its own thing, right? Its own nation. Could have maybe went that way at one point in U.S. history, so let's just do it that way. That way it's more of an all-out royale, and kind of just see what happens. Now, the question is, do I turn on alliances at all, or just let it be a big free-for-all? I'm thinking let's turn on alliances. All right, let's allow them to join and leave as they so choose. And we'll see what happens there. I've been kind of on and off this whole series about alliances or not, so this time we get alliances, because I want to see what happens. Maybe the states join forces with different tribes. I don't know. Enough talking by me. Place your bets. Who's going to win? Also, before we begin, look at this. They added a terrain map. So you can see the grayed out areas being the desert, the silver up here being like the Rockies, and then I have the Appalachian Mountains right here, and you can just see the water better. It's really nice. Anyways, let's get this started. Who's gonna win it all in the year 1790 in North America? All right, we have our first battles and alliances forming. Virginia, North Carolina teaming up. Very likely in our own timeline if this was the case. All right, we have some naval battles going on. The first to fall was Seneca being conquered by New York as New York moves up north. And again, especially in the Northeast, my state line's not perfect. Cuba fell to Spanish Florida. Spanish Florida, looks like they did a wraparound naval invasion and got Cuba. Meanwhile, New Spain claiming some territory. Same with the British as they move into the Great Lakes region, into the greater U.S. region. Delaware has joined Operation Virginia. Very good. The states, now their own nations, are kind of joining forces. We have, who is this? The Blackfoot Confederacy flooding down south into Spanish territory, all the way down the Rockies. Now, maybe that's something new here. I can't tell. But maybe if they're gaining territory, it shows up kind of a contested color, maybe. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Meanwhile, Georgia was conquered by South Carolina. All right, little betrayal right there, as we're the first state to fall, I guess you could say. And then Spanish Florida was conquered by the Muskogee. So the Muskogee are actually going to get a lot more of Georgia and Florida territory than South Carolina could. And then the Seminole were also conquered by the Muskogee, who were just wrecking house. And they're going to make their way to Cuba. Meanwhile, New York was conquered by Connecticut up here. So Connecticut gets bigger. Massachusetts is going to get a lot of that. Maryland was conquered by Pennsylvania. All right, so the Eagles took out the Ravens. Look at this. We got the Southern Paiute now flooding into the Blackfoot Confederacy. All right, a lot of contested area over here, you could tell. Vermont was conquered by New Hampshire. All right, the Sioux getting a little larger over here in the Midwest. We have 50 nations left. Let's just look at the alliance map. Let's see who's teamed together. We have Virginia and the Carolinas together, as well as looks like Delaware, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Connecticut are teamed up. The Cherokee and Muskogee are a very formidable tribal alliance, and we got several aligned over here in the Mississippi River Delta, and we got several aligned up over here. It looks quite nice, to be honest. And let's just browse at the statistics. The largest by area is going to be the British, followed by the Plains Creek and New Spain. And then talking about the economy, of course, the British, Plains Creek, and then the greater U.S., which, of course, is over here in this green. Let's see where this ends up going still. Looks like the Blackfoot Confederacy is going to fall to the Southern Paiute, which gets really big all of a sudden. Meanwhile, who is this? The Chickasaw moving into Muskogee territory. The Wabanaki Confederacy, one of the last tribes on the east side of the U.S., just took out New Hampshire. So another current state falls. Meanwhile, the Comanche conquer the Wichita down here. The greater U.S. conquering some tribes, expanding their territory as they would. South Carolina conquering the Quapaw and Chickasaw, so they're bouncing around all the way to the Mississippi. Meanwhile, Southern Paiute continuing to grow, conquering the Comanche, Arapaho, and then Pennsylvania took out Delaware. It is kind of interesting that only the states have really teamed up with other states, vice versa with the tribes, but the Muskogee just fell. South Carolina getting a lot of Florida. Not all of it, though. Meanwhile, the Choctaw conquered the Cherokee, and the South Carolina conquered the Yuchi. South Carolina is trying to connect their territory here, as Pennsylvania conquered Virginia and moved south, also conquering North Carolina. The British on a tear. They just conquered the Plains Creek, one of the bigger tribes up north. Now they're going to set their sights on the Haisla. And the Wabanaki Confederacy, which they're trying to strangle up here in the northeast. The Sioux trying to expand ever more as well. We just had a big one. South Carolina fell to Pennsylvania. I don't know what this little thing means. But that was a thing. So we got the Choctaw and Pennsylvania looking like the powerhouses in the southeast. And then look at that, the greater U.S. It must be the War of 1812. Again, 50 years, no, a little longer. But the greater U.S. has fallen to the British, which leaves Pennsylvania, Connecticut, and Massachusetts being the only remnants of the young U.S. I guess you could say the Wabanaki Confederacy have been demolished. Meanwhile, the Southern Paiute continue to grow, conquering the Apache. And the Kiowa making their way to the Mississippi. Connecticut has fallen. Massachusetts has fallen. Pennsylvania, Philadelphia has fallen. The British are coming back with vengeance here. We got New Spain, the British, and a bunch of tribes left, including the Choctaw, the Sioux, the Kiowa. Can everyone hold their own against these European forces? The Southern Paiute are definitely trying. They're eating up a bunch of tribes right now, including the Crow. The Choctaw just fell to the Kiowa. New Spain has wrapped around in Cuba, gotten back to Florida. Southern Paiute expanding up north, gonna conquer the Haisla, the Sioux. Wow. Southern Paiute are insane right now. They're going down. They're not done. They're going after New Spain. They're going to get New Spain. Southern Paiute and the British were attacking the Kiowa at the same time. Get them off the map. The Chumash trying to start a little rebellion in the tribe of Ohlone. Meanwhile, the Kiowa have fallen. Who will it be? One of these three. The Ohlone, the Southern Paiute, or the British? Will the British come back and retake America? Ohlone being taken out. This leaves the Southern Paiute and the British. Will it be one of the Western tribes, or will it be the Redcoats? You can see, so this is all like gain territory until they peace out in this different texture. I like that. I like that a good bit. And there y'all have it. Oh, come on, don't do that to me. Get them. Get them. The British are not going to come back and win this thing, as the Southern Paiute win it all for themselves. Congratulations to them. If you like this simulation, hit me with the like button. Suggest something in the comments and I might just turn it into reality. If you want to see more of these videos, outdoor videos, food reviews, anything like that, hit the subscribe button and join the Southern Woods community. Without further ado, y'all, once again, shout out to the Southern Paiute and Southern Woods out.